So, you've decided to come back for more, huh? Well, alright then. I am Flock of Turtles, and welcome to part 2 of my first 24 hours in the wonderful world of Elden Ring. I want to thank everyone for the support on that video, and hopefully in the meantime you're a person that discovered me either through my previous video or one of the shorts that I've posted on my channel so far. I'm really digging this YouTube thing so far, even though I spent like dozens of hours working on part 1 and it got like 30 something views. But I don't give a dog dim a damn, because I could be getting like 0 views on my videos, and 30 is more than 0, so like I graduated high school. I mean, you know, simple math. So just to recap on the first part, I left the video off at around the 15-hour mark of in-game time. I did mention in reference in that video from Vati Vidya about being overpowered in Elden Ring, and I'm going to be continuing that little quest in this video that you're seeing now. I expand a little bit further upon it, and I pretty much do close to everything that he has in that video, so just you wait and see the shenanigans I get myself into. Anyways, I'm not going to go into too much detail because I do believe that you should watch that video first before this one. Obviously, you know, watch part 1 of the first 24 hours before you watch part 2. It just makes sense. You don't watch the third friggin' installment of a movie before you watch the other 2 unless you're a jackass. I don't know, but just do whatever you want to do. I don't care, just as long as you watch something on my channel. But yeah, anyway, I've really been digging Elden Ring. I've really been digging recording, making videos, all that kind of stuff in general. I'm just having a lot of fun so far, and I just want to thank everyone watching this, new viewers, returning viewers alike. So, this is part 2 of my first 24 hours in Elden Ring as a Dark Souls noob. This time, instead of not knowing shit about fuck, I knew a thing or two about Elden Ring up to this point. And one thing I knew is that I was a little bit scared of this Erdtree avatar, so I decided to level up more before fighting it. So I went back to the only grinding spot I knew about at the time on Storm Hill and just took out some trolls and got a couple other levels. They're about 1,000 runes a pop, so it's a good early game farming spot. After some confidence boosting fighting against some common enemies, I knew that now is the time to prove to myself, and to you mother yuckers, that I am somewhat competent at this game. This minor Erdtree in the Weeping Peninsula is home to a boss of the, well, tree variety, and one that I had to conquer in order to get some more tears for my Flask of Wonders physic. And it is literally the boss that you just saw. There he is, boys, in all of his vegetative, girthy glory. One of many Erdtree avatars scattered across the land. And to be honest, I was actually surprised at that much damage with one swing. The only things in life that are certain are death, taxes, Flock of Turtles immediately dying to a boss, and that Amber Heard is a manipulative, abusive piece of shit. The second attempt went okay, I guess. I mean, I look back at the clips and I hadn't played in like 5 or 6 days, so I was a little bit rusty going into this battle. Alright, we've got Flock of Turtles. His third time going to be the charm. Who knows, knowing him, because he's an absolute scrub sometimes when it comes to this game. But in all seriousness, I mean, this battle in particular, I finally ditched like trying to just cross my fingers and hope that I did enough to beat the boss. I mean, I was actually legitimately dodging attacks, well, not that one, getting some good well-timed, you know, punish attacks in and stuff like that. I got really close. I was really feeling it. And then in my very next attempt, I beat him, but I didn't realize that I didn't unpause the friggin' recording. No! It is a simple rookie mistake, but as far as I know, you should be expecting nothing less from me at this point. Oh yeah, remember the OP insignia from last video? Well, that is making a comeback. These 2 tiers for your physic are just mwah. From beating that Erdtree avatar in the Weeping Peninsula, you get the Opaline Bubble tier and the Spike Crack tier. Now, the Bubble tier does as advertised and surrounds you with a bubble that reduces damage you take for 1 hit. And the Spike Crack tier boosts the power of charge attacks. I don't know if it applies to spells and melee weapons, but I don't see why it wouldn't apply to both of them. And now, my friends, this is where things get a little spicy, let's just say. Or corny, depending on how you morally view what's about to happen. Behind the third Church of Marika is a portal. Now, where does this portal take you, Brandon? You may be asking me. And I answer, to the lovely destination wedding hotspot known as Grail's Dragon Burrow. Alright, boys, this is where we get down to business. The nitty-gritty, if you will. Alright, so here's what the doctor ordered, big guy. You see this dragon, you might think I'm gonna fight him and let him meet his maker. Not today. You're just gonna completely ignore him. Dragon? What dragon? Dragging these nuts across your big-ass forehead, that's what I'm dragging. So I followed the path a little bit further until I found myself at another minor Erd tree with another one of those avatars. But you know what? I didn't pay his bitch ass any mind because I got more important things to do than to spend my life growing old with you now, woman. So I just went around the back of the tree to the spirit spring jump, and I got some sick air, bro. Like, just unbelievable hang time. Like, you will not believe the amount of air I got. And, once the music died down from the boss, I found myself face to face with this big mamma jamma. This is the motherlode, folks. This is why I'm here. So, unless you've been living under a rock, you should know exactly what's about to go down. All I'm gonna say is somebody better call an ambulance. But not for me. Oh my god. This guy's got a lot more health than I thought. Oh. Oh my god. Oh. Whew. Oh, I finally did it. Oh my god. And for my efforts, I was rewarded with just shy of 100,000 runes and 5 dragon hearts for slaying this absolute monstrosity. And when you kill the big kahuna, it kills several dragons around him, so you get the runes from them as well. Now, with this many runes at my disposal, I felt like a kid in a candy store. I didn't know what I wanted to upgrade, but I knew right away I was getting 10 levels out of this. I waltzed on up from that side of Grace into Fort Feroth because I needed to do some, shopping. So, how you guys doing? Did you remember to take the trash out, drink some water, take out the chicken from the freezer like your mom told you? And at the top of the tower is the other half of the Dectus medallion, so now we can access the Altus Plateau whenever. And not only that, but if you want to get access to one of the best talismans early to mid-game, follow my lead. So, I did a little bit of this and a little bit of that, and a little bit of jumping, until I managed to get through all the rats and to get to Radagon's Soar Seal. This gives you really good stat buffs. So I went back to the Dragon Burrow after that so I could farm these little vulgar militiamen dudes. I'd highly recommend coming here because these guys are actually really easy to stun lock, even though they could definitely take you out in 1 or 2 hits if you're not careful. Unbeknownst to me, that statue I saw before, that's actually a friggin' boss. Yeah, after that happened, I contemplated my life for a minute or two. Then I went back to one of the Everjails to fight another boss. I knew this time around I could be a little bit more collected and composed because I knew how boss fights worked. I just had to be a better judge of attacks. Another advantage is that this dude's health bar is absurdly low. But unfortunately, Dar will kill me again. I mean, it just happens sometimes. I had to fight him a few times, and most of the time I was struggling and roll spamming because I just had a hard time identifying which moves he was going to combo together. But I knew that with time, you know, I just had to keep trying. I mean, that's all this game is, really, just trial and error. Dude, there was even some attempts where I didn't even get a single hit onto him, oh my god. But as time went on, I just knew that, you know, I wasn't learning shit from these battles and that I was gonna have to win based on brute force because nothing in my brain was just computing the right way, I just couldn't get it. Oddly enough, the very next attempt was my best one. I don't exactly know what happened here, but I just had one of those perfect storm moments where suddenly everything made sense and I kind of, like, saw into the 4th dimension or something. So, I get a really good unsheath attack off very quickly in, and then that dodge right there was something that I didn't think I was capable of doing something like that, but I was making quite a few missteps in this battle. Like, that jump attack right there, I should have honestly read the fact that he was going to attack right there, and the good thing is, I didn't know this before because I wasn't really getting hits on him. You can stun lock him because he's just like a Bloodhound Knight, and what I didn't know is that you can find guys like him as common enemies later in the game, but it all ended with just a simple unsheath attack that I timed pretty quickly after he went for one of his, like, Bloodhound steps. And then his weapon, man, oh boy, this is gonna be fun. Oh my Jesus. And I know exactly what I'm gonna be doing with my new weapon. Leonine, I got something for your ass. I was doing a ton of damage to him and it looked like I was gonna win, but unfortunately I tried to heal when he was clearly going for an attack, so even though I was being an idiot, that didn't stop me from going back for more. So, here is the winning fight against Mr. Leonine Misbegotten. So, what I actually really like about the Bloodhound's Fang and a lot of the weapons that you pick up early on in the game is that you can actually still buff them with things like Fire Grease and Blood Grease and all that. And at the time, I was still really using Fire Grease a lot, and I got a really nice bleed proc early on into the fight, and that helped me immensely. combined with the fact that I'm like level 50 or something at this point, and I'm just like stupidly over leveled for this point in the game. But yeah, like one thing I realize now, and what most people realize at this stage in the game, because we're like 2 months into it or something, bleed is absurdly overpowered. And the fact that most bosses in the game are weak to bleed, and there haven't been that many nerfs. I mean, I think they just came out with a nerf to bleed in patch 1.04, but still, it's like, you could still just bleed build the shit out of the game and just murder everything that comes in your path. But, I mean, anyway, I took him out pretty easily. I mean, I don't even think I really learned his attacks too much, but, you know, it is what it is. You know, I really like the Bloodhound's Fang. I used it for quite a decent chunk of time and managed to take out the boss that was giving me a lot of trouble. But it looks like I can't use the sword either. I'm just way too weak. But on this particular day, I was on a roll, and I just wanted to do as much damage to people as possible. Now, inside the Weeping Ever jail, I found myself face to face with an ancient hero of Zamor. Right away, I knew the battle would be cool because he was using frost magic. I never came up against an enemy that did this yet. So he was being very passive, and it was kind of creeping me out, the fact that he was just sitting there and sizing me up. So when I went to attack, it was definitely a big mistake, man. I mean, I got absolutely greedy, and I got destroyed. I used my noggin a little bit, and I figured since he was using frost, I mean, Fire Grease should be doing a number on him. Yeah, turns out that, you know, Fire Grease didn't really matter too much, because I was getting my ass whooped. And then I forgot to record my winning attempt against him. So, there it is, yeah. So, the Radagon Scar Seal is actually just a weaker version of the Sword Seal that we got earlier, so I'm not even going to be using that. So, after all my detours were done, I knew that I had to go back to Stormvale Castle and just face the music. I had to find the boss that, I had heard about from our buddy Dylan that I mentioned in the last video. All I knew is that his name was Godric the Grafted or something like that. I mean, I didn't look up the bosses or anything at this point, so, one thing I will say is that the Bloodhound's Fang is, like, super fun for taking out common enemies as well. I mean, the skill combined with just the moveset that the curved greatswords have, I mean, this thing is just a shitload of fun to use. Highly recommend it. Now, even though this weapon is pretty fun, it didn't help the fact that sometimes I revert back to full scrub mode and just completely misjudge, like, any single attack that I do or that my enemies do. The most annoying part about death is that the fact that I have to kill these guys all over again. Now, second time around against that lion, I cheesed the hell out of him with the Spirit Ashes. This is definitely the most fierce common enemy I've come up against so far, but, enemies like this are just what was making me better at the game, man. I got some good hits in, finally got a opening to use the Bloodhound's Finesse, and I got the kill shot. Got some really good loot as well. Finally, I found a place where I can rest for more than 4 friggin' seconds at a time. I did some lollygagging that doesn't need to be spoken of, and then I came back so I could go further into the castle. It was at this point where, I was getting a little trepidatious. I thought that I would try going this way first when, holy shit, that's the giant guy from the capital that killed me earlier. Hold, there's 2 of them? Wait, there's 3 freaking giants! I don't know what the hell I'm supposed to do, there's a triple stack of them. So I managed to get enough separation, and I was able to get into this portal right here. I didn't know where it was going. Only, I didn't know it took me to the Divine Tower of Limgrave, and I realized I just wasted my time by coming here. That's when I realized that I had to face my fears and just go back to the Stormvale Castle and go through the door that I didn't want to have to go through. Alright, I know what to expect this time. It shouldn't be that bad. Wait a minute, how the hell am I supposed to take care of this guy now up ahead? Oh my god, there's another one? Alright, now I knew that obviously I had to use my bow and arrow a little bit to take out the guy behind me and in front of me. And got him. So take out this guy. Better luck next time, dude. I took out the guards that were standing at the top of the stairs, and turns out that my prize for doing that was a flamethrower. Look, there was a lot of soldiers up here. I never made it this far up until this point, and I was panicking because I had no idea how I was going to take out all these guys, man. I really didn't. After I took out what seemed to be like 1,000 of them, I saw this ogre-looking mother yucker nearby, and I decided to test my skills, only I didn't see the dog near him, and I got screwed over by that damn mutt, and I got absolutely destroyed thanks to that combo wombo. Combo wombo. Whatever, I'll keep that in. But, you know, I was getting tired, it was getting late, so that's where I decided to call it. After all the Dragon Burrow shenanigans, level 48, about 18 hours in. And we start off this section with a public service announcement. So, yeah, at this point, I'm realizing that I didn't equip any of the talismans that I got on my entire journey so far. Yeah, it appears that I'm still an idiot at this game. So I actually equipped Radagon's Sword Seal, and I got a pretty good buff. I went back into Stormvale, but I made a mistake of trying to fight literally anything that moved. Time for me to beat up on some militiamen so I can make myself feel better. Look, I told you, it's a strategy. At some point I found Starlight Shards, but I don't know what good these are for, but can't hurt to have them. I started roaming around in Limgrave again, doing my thing, taking in the scenery. I hadn't done anything related to Vati's OP video in a while, so I was debating whether or not I wanted to do more of that or just explore Liurnia of the Lakes a little bit, because I hadn't even been up to that way at this point. I figured it wouldn't hurt just to poke around in there for a little while, so that's what I decided to do. But before I did that, I wanted to do one of the many optional nighttime boss fights that you can do in the game. Near specific sites of grace, you'll find these pitch black guys known as the Knights Cavalry. Cavalry, yeah. There's several iterations of these guys in the lands between, and they all drop something unique. To be honest, the difficulty of this guy is somewhere between Tree Sentinel and a normal horseback soldier that you see in Limgrave. Probably just closer to the normal enemy, if I'm being perfectly honest. I mean, this guy was trash. I didn't even have to leave my horse for the entire time because his moveset is fairly simple and I just wanted to do a horseback battle, honestly. Now, when you defeat this guy, you get the Night Rider's Flail and an Ash of War called Barricade Shield. Now, flails aren't exactly my cup of tea, but any sort of flail or strike or hammer weapon come in very handy for a particular boss that we fight later. Now, at the time when I was recording this, it was like the 3rd week of March to the end of the month, so I have no idea what was going through my head at the time. So, I think what I was doing was deciding whether or not I wanted to go further into Caelid, or if I wanted to go to Liurnia. I don't know what the heck was going on. Oh, okay, hang on a second. I'm in Stormhill, so I think I was planning on avoiding the Godric battle for the moment to explore Liurnia a little bit. Okay, that's what I was doing. Oh, wait a second. Oh my god, I'm an idiot. The name of the recording session clip is just exploring Liurnia of the Lakes. Oh my god, I swear to god, sometimes I just don't know where the hell my head's. Found this cool little arena underneath the bridge to the Divine Tower of Limgrave when I got dismounted from the horse, and you know what that means. Oh, is he gonna... Oh, maybe now? Is he gonna no? Maybe now is he gonna maybe just... Yeah, there we go. So, I took out the invader with a cool little combo that grew on me. The Bloodhound's finesse into a jump attack is very lethal. Killing this dude got me this hammer talisman. But I have no idea what this really does, so I didn't bother equipping it. I could just Google it, but I'm an idiot. If there is a single clip that sums me up as an Elden Ring player, unfortunately, it would have to be this one. Now, while you watch my stupid ass ride all the way back from Stormhill, let me know in the comments what kind of content you want to see from me in the future if you're new around here. So I have been uploading a game called Pokemon Insurgents, but I haven't really been doing it for a while because Elden Ring's been taking up most of my time. I already have a bad enough time with like recording stuff and then not coming back to it, so I don't want to keep doing it. And anyway, I also haven't played Legends Arceus since like the 2nd week after its release. So if you want to just subscribe and then stick around for like whatever I upload, please do it because I like Elden Ring. I want to upload a lot more videos based on this in the future, but I want to play other games as well. So anyway, back to the video. Now, I thought Limgrave was a sight to behold, and it still is, but Liurnia is right up there in terms of just straight up beauty, man. I love the artistic approach that they use with the contrast of the craggy mountains next to the mist-covered lowlands in this place. I mean, each main area's design is so clear and distinct, and yet they all seem to flow into and join one another and create this, like, sort of beautiful, artistic... I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. Except for Caelid. Everything I said applies to every place except for Caelid. Caelid still sucks donkey dicks. Now, a little ways away down the road, I found myself in another church, and I found a bald fellow named Tops, who is a young sorcerer that unfortunately lost his way from the Raya Lucaria Academy in the north of Liurnia, and talking to him starts his own little quest line. Now, at this point, he mentioned something about needing a special glintstone key to be able to access the academy due to magic seals that were placed on the gates, so at the moment I can't just waltz my way in there, unfortunately. Man, why can't they just let me in, like without a key, and make my life simple? Maybe I can like grab a couple of pizzas or something and just sneak in that way. Wait a minute. Is that the Chapel of Anticipation? Like, the spot where you start the game? That's actually pretty cool. I didn't know it was there. Well, I mean, there's no use sitting around here with my thumb up my ass, so I better just do what I came here to do. But you know what? For once, this merchant actually had some decent stuff on him, so I did buy a fair few things off of him. So there's not much else that happened right here. I found the map for this section of Liurnia, and that was really about it. So I ended off this playing session at level 49, about 19 hours into the game, so we're really approaching the 24 hours. This is crunch time, folks. rapidly approaching the 24-hour mark, and I was going as fast as I could to get a couple more things done in that OP quest, and I really wanted to beat Godric before the 24-hour mark. Now, this little mini quest I go on is part of that, as helping this woman allows you to find a guy that sells boiled prawn items that give you a defense buff when you consume one of them. So, I don't even really know if you could call this a quest, because it's literally just you, like, running back and forth between this guy and the girl to, like, give her the necklace back. So I guess the challenge in the first place is even finding the guy where he is if you don't want to look up the location. But when I returned the necklace, this girl handed me an invitation to a place called Volcano Manor, and I think this will come in handy later. Oh, scratch that, never mind. I thought it was a key item, but it's basically just a note. But anyways, I'm definitely stopping by the Volcano Manor later, because I want to kill all the shard bearers in this playthrough, 100%. Also, found the map for the northern part of Liurnia, and as the map started to reveal itself a little bit more, I got a better picture of where exactly I needed to go to access the Grand Lift of Dectus later. Next on the agenda is for me to head over to this little cave right here on the map. Have you guys had any weird encounters with the lobsters in Liurnia like I did? I don't know if he just like couldn't see me, or if like the aggro stopped because I'm sitting behind this statue, but yeah, I guess he just lost interest and went back into his little hideout. Hey, well, would you look at that? I haven't seen one of these things in a while. I don't know, man, like, I kind of just want one as, like a pet or something for some reason. Is that weird? It took me a long-ass time, but I finally made it to the Raya Lucaria Crystal Tunnel. I didn't plan on doing a boss fight right at the moment, and I came here for one reason, and one reason only. Cracked crystals, my guy. So these cracked crystals can be crafted into crystal darts, which are throwing weapons that deal a little bit of magic damage and have some pretty cool properties outside of that. You get the crafting recipe from it somewhere I was earlier in the video, but I didn't include that because I want you to find that yourself. So, are you guys having fun watching me play this game yet? I messed around a little bit in the cave farming some crystal shards, and then I just went back to the round table to upgrade a couple of weapons. So I went back into the cave afterwards because now I was ready to take on the boss at the end of the cave. Now this particular boss is weak as hell to strike damage from hammer weapons like my Morning Star here, so if you have the proper equipment, this battle is going to be easy as piece of cake. I don't know if that's the right expression, but who cares. The Crystallian bosses are pretty true to their name. They're these sentient crystal humanoid things, and like any crystalline structure, if you hit them in just the right spot with enough force, they're about as useful as tits on a bull and they crumble right away. Now, from the time I walk into the room to the time I kill the boss, it's pretty much exactly like 1 minute, so I'm just gonna leave the entire fight in here so you can see everything that I do. I summoned my spirit ashes like a little nerd that I am, but if this was me now, I can easily take this thing down and probably only take like a couple hits from it. It's amazing to see myself then versus now, and I'm very thankful and grateful that I was exposed to this game and that I made the decision to actually buy it. Playing this game is the most fun I've had gaming in years, and I hope the more people join me on this little YouTube journey, the more I get like excited to improve even more. Towards the end of the fight, my enemy got absolutely curb stomped, and it dropped the Smithing Stone Miner's Bell Bearing Tier 1. Bell Bearings can be taken to these Twin Maiden Husks in the round table to unlock more items to buy. Now, the Bell Bearing I got allows you to buy unlimited Smithing Stones Tier 1 and 2, so we can get any normal weapon to +6. And now, it's time I made my way back to Stormvale Castle so I can get the Godric, baby. If I can even get to him in one piece, that is. And it was also at this point that I got reintroduced to the absolute wombo combo known as the Omen and the Dog. God damn, it's like I got hit with a freight train on PCP. Well, unfortunately, it looks like I've got a little bit more exploring to do before I get the Godric, but hopefully I'm there soon. Alright, let's see here. Wait, are these jars alive? Can I fight these things? After I took out some of the younglings, apparently Mama Jar wasn't very pleased, but too bad she is literally a clay pot and can't really fight for that long. Well, folks, here it is. The room right before Godric. I'll be honest, folks. I was nervous and I was uncertain. This was my first real test in this game, and even at my grossly over-leveled state, I wasn't very confident that I'd be able to do this in one sitting. But I knew that in my mind, even if I failed, I had to remember what I told myself at the start of my journey. You are maidenless. Now, my first attempt at Godric wasn't actually that bad, but it wasn't great either. Looking back, it was pretty clear that I still had no real idea what the hell I was doing in most boss fights. I had no idea what his moveset was, so I just ate a bunch of his hits that I definitely shouldn't have. Talk about 1 HP in a dream. Now, there were some passages of the battle that seemed like things were going in my favor, and honestly, if it was me now, I would have taken him out so easily. I did in fact get him down to his second phase on my first attempt, so I was encouraged. Now, most of the time I was able to get off a couple hits, mostly due to dumb luck more than anything, but right here, I look like I know what windows to look for, but I was just getting really lucky with dodges, honestly. So on my first attempt, I got Godric down to like 25% health, which I thought was pretty successful. Like my other boss battles, some attempts were more successful than others. And some aren't even really worth wasting my breath over, if I'm being perfectly honest. Attempt number 3 was pretty solid, though. I felt like I was getting a hang of it, and I was utilizing fire grease buffs a lot. I got Godric down a little bit further than in my first attempt, and then I discovered the grab mechanic for the first time. Yeah, it would have been nice to know about this beforehand. We do not talk about attempt number 4 under any circumstances. Now, in attempt number 6, I could smell victory, but unfortunately I shat the bed Amber Heard style right here. A simple quick combo would have won me the fight if I just, like, ran through his flames. But then in my 9th try against Godric the Grafted, your boy Flock of Turtles finally came out on top and got his act together. I started on the offensive with a jump attack followed by a couple of quick slashes. I was getting some nice dodges in there too. Clearly, I still didn't learn how to dodge everything, and I was just eating punches like a fat fuck sometimes, but the sloppy wins and the pretty ones count the same, you know what I mean? At this point, I decided to call in my Godric Spirit Ashes, and, I didn't realize it then, but the aggro split that you get from Ashes is so overpowered. Dude, look at me. I am unstoppable. Godric has nothing on me. Ignore the fact that he killed me like 8 times already, but the past has nothing to do with what's happening now. So, as Godric went in the second phase, I buffed up my Uchigatana a little bit, and then I watched my second soldier get sent to the Shadow Realm. A wise man once said that the best defense is a good offense. I was just going for damage, even if I was getting greedy. Funnily enough, I was still a little bit panicky, and I realized that if I didn't close the gaps, I was going to get toasted by his fiery wind attacks. And I was still having some miscues and minor fuck-ups around this time. I was getting very nervous, and I was starting to experience the phenomenon known as smooth brain syndrome, where I forgot everything I know about gaming, Elden Ring, basic decision-making, and possibly even my girlfriend's birthday.
Lacey, I'm only kidding. It's June 3rd. Please don't get mad at me.
Nah, I was shitting bricks, and I was so afraid of accidentally dying, so I was just staying back, honestly. But after a little bit while, I was getting close, and oh my god, I was getting so close to the arrows. This one hit, and then I was like shitting myself because that one went right through him. I didn't understand how it didn't hit, but I managed to take out Godric the Grafted. Oh, I did it. Godric the Grafted has been beaten by a Dark Souls noob within 10 tries. Even though I was grossly overleveled, I was damn proud of myself, man. You know what I just realized? I'm editing this video and recording this voiceover like a month and a half after I beat Godric. I am a terrible content creator. So, I was finally able to access the Divine Tower of Limgrave, so I went to the top, restored the power of the Great Rune, and this thing is all mine. Oh, what to do. So many places to see and so many people to do. Wait, wow, what a concept. Beat a demigod to unlock access to 2 sentient, crusty old fingers. The developers are fucking weirdos. Oh my god, it's gonna snow in the summertime. Gideon is finally treating me like a person and not like a goddamn leper for once. And at this point, I didn't really do much else besides get some info about the rest of the Shard Bearers from Sir Gideon. Getting the backstory about characters is a big part of, like, the fun for me when I play single-player games, and as of late, I've been really getting engrossed in, like, the lore aspects of the community. That's one thing I kind of, like, didn't know I was missing from gaming, you know? It is what it is, though. And at this point, level 50, just over 21 hours in. So the final journey in my first 24 hours sees me on a trek to get to the final main area of the game, the Altus Plateau. I'm not gonna do much there, you know, just do a little bit of sightseeing, stop by, chat with some of the locals. If I wanted to jump around on platforms, I'd be playing Super Mario and doing speedruns or some shit. And, after dying like this, I think I'd be better off sticking to a game like Mario. I think that's more my speed. It took me more tries than I care to admit to get, you know, off to the side of the cliff and off those platforms, but on we move. I made it to the Bellum Church site of Grace, and then I traveled from there, as the Grand Lift of Dectus is pretty much right down the road. Oddly enough, you'd think a place like this would be more heavily guarded, but I didn't run into any resistance whatsoever when I approached the Grand Lift. Dude, why do these bats keep insisting on attacking me? Do you have any idea what I did to your brethren at the start of my journey? Oh yeah. This place looks cool as shit. Honestly, I had that feeling like I was approaching the Indigo Plateau for the first time as a kid playing Pokemon. As nerdy as that sounds, that's how I felt. Going up. Alright, my brother. Let's get this last bit of my quest to become overpowered completed. Have I ever told you guys how much I love the way this game looks? Oh, wait. I have? Well, let me tell you again anyway. I love the design aspects of Elden. Don't forget to grab them seeds, boys. You can never have enough golden seeds. Now, if this map unlocked only that little section, this area must be ginormous. Alright, so I need to go right here. So to get into the capital, I could have either taken the main road and gotten met with a bunch of enemies, or do the other option and the scenic and the nature route. There is a rune bear that patrols this area, but I used my expert stealth techniques and he just ignored me, honestly. I was actually quite surprised. Now, this part is a tad tricky if you're an idiot like me and you can't walk around a stationary pole. Seeing these two tree sentinels guarding the capital entrance makes me wonder how on earth the one in Limgrave got so lost that he wound up where he did. I mean, Limgrave is probably like fucking 80 miles away from this place. But once you get past them and into the capital outskirts, you can pick up 2 golden seeds free of charge. Now, there is a gargoyle here, but I do not want anything he's selling. More golden seeds, by the way. Don't forget about them. Now, if you're wondering what my goal is here, I'm trying to get into this cave that is situated right about here. Oh my god. My stupid ass finally found it. Now, this cave is pretty cool because it has a bunch of illusionary walls in it, so it's time for some spelunking. Now, the main reason why I came in here was to grab another one of those bell bearings, and it's honestly right in this chest over yonder. Now, this one allows you to buy unlimited smithing stones tier 3 and 4, so you can get normal weapons up to plus 12 at any time whatsoever. Oh yeah. I figured while I was here I might as well see what's going on in the rest of the cave, so I did some sightseeing. I whipped out my morning star so I could lay a whooping on these miners. And oh boy did I. Now this room is a little bit tricky. There's a lot of good loot in here, but it is very dangerous, so remember to write out your will beforehand. Now, I found myself at the entrance to the boss room, and the boss inside is actually a really cool fight if you want to take this guy on. Too bad I didn't record it. Now, oddly enough, getting through this sealed tunnel is actually how you access the Divine Tower of West Altus, so remember that if you haven't figured out how to get here. And I'm just now realizing that I forgot about so many weapons because I took them out of my inventory and put them into the chest like a month and a half ago. Now, it was around this time, I was about 23 hours in, and I kind of accomplished everything I wanted to before I hit the 24-hour mark. I took my newly acquired bell bearing to the Twin Maiden Husks so I could finally upgrade my weapons to a respectable amount without having to do any work whatsoever. Work smarter, not harder. And, I found out that the Dung Eater is an interesting character, to say the least. I went to visit my buddy at the first step, but he was gone. Looks like old Var told me to meet up with him at the Rose Church in Liurnia, so maybe I'll stop by and pay him a little visit. 24 hours in Elden Ring. And look at where I'm at now. I came, I saw, and I kicked its ass. Let me dial it back a little bit. I'm definitely the one that was getting my ass kicked most of the time in the game. So, in the first part of this video, I touched on the idea of viewing Elden Ring and other FromSoft games as kind of like a metaphor for life and improvement. If you're not challenging yourself one way or another, whether that be like physically or mentally, then in my opinion, that's just going to lead to stagnation and you're not ever going to improve as a person. As Mr. Ben Eller so eloquently put it in one of his videos, you must embrace the suckage if you want to be better at guitar, and I feel like that just applies to pretty much everything. Even though this video is about to end, this is just the beginning of my channel and of my Elden Ring journey. There are people out there that are probably on like New Game Plus 7 right now, and I'm not even at Mount Gilmer yet, but that does not even matter. Speaking of which, before I go, I want to let you in on a little secret. I've been playing pretty far ahead compared to where I've been sort of showing you in the videos, and I want to give you a little taste of what's to come. My first 24 hours in Elden Ring taught me many things, but above all, I learned my most valuable lesson in the very beginning of the game before I even really did anything. And that was to try new things and don't limit yourself to only being what you think you are now. It's kind of funny and maybe even a little bit odd that a video game helped me realize this, but I guess that's poetic in a way considering what my relationship has been with video games over the course of my life. The open world aspect of Elden Ring allows you to play any way that you want to. You're the one that's in control. The game is a blank canvas with endless possibilities. And just like life itself, Elden Ring is nothing more and nothing less than what you make of it. If you like what you saw from me today, join me on my YouTube journey and subscribe to the channel. I'd really appreciate it if you did. I've been Flock of Turtles. You've been nothing short of amazing. Thank you, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.